No, maybe not. That's all we need. That's all we need right there. Intro done. How to score whiskey. Let's talk. Welcome to Curiosity Public. My name is Dutch.
My name is Jules.
Humility personified.
Humility
Oh,
does not exist. Does not exist.
All right, guys. Well, welcome to another one of our Let's Talk videos here on Curiosity Public. You know, sometimes there's just topics that we think would be interesting to chat about for a while. These are kind of more like our podcasts in a way, right?
Podcasts is his own thing.
Podcasts. Anyway, today's topic is how to score the whiskey that you want. Like how to score allocated whiskey. How to score it. How to provide a number score to that whiskey using the Curiosity Public Ultimate Spirits Competition criteria.
And now everyone just closed.
Clickbait over. Well, you know, this is our scorecard for our Curiosity Public Ultimate Spirits Competition. And you can see we have 10 categories that Jules says every episode and can't remember.
I have to read it every time.
I think the first thing I want to do, the distinction I want to draw is I want to draw a line between our scoring number that we provide and everybody else that provides a number.
Everybody.
I can't tell you how many times I see comments or just people whining about like, well, Tequila Matchmaker said this was an 80, but you guys scored it a 70. Or like Whiskey Advocate said this is blah, blah, blah. Or so-and-so scored this a blah, blah, blah. Or on Reddit, somebody's, whatever it is. It doesn't matter.
They rated it 3.5 barrel points. Like what?
Our scoring system means a very specific thing. And I don't think that you should think of it in terms of a out of 100 score, the way we kind of instinctively do. And or we think about our grade scores, right?
Yeah, exactly. Or traditional from school. It's like, no, 100 doesn't mean you get an A or a 90.
Like a 90 to 100 doesn't mean not an A.
Yeah.
For us, like A is like, probably like at a 78.
Yes, exactly. I mean, that's our baseline.
We have a lot of room for A+. Like A+ is like 85 and up, I think.
It's A++++. It's unachievable.
No, it's like, my GPA was like 5.0 out of 4.0.
Of course it was.
Of course.
Yeah, I think one of the ones that comes to mind is our review of Elijah Craig C923, right? Which everybody loved. And I think we really liked it. It was really good. And I think I saw somebody's like, oh, you rated this a C+.
Yeah. They converted our number, our score, like within the 70s to a C+. And it's not the same.
So my question is always like when people disagree with the number we give it, what I always like to ask is, okay, what category did we score too high or too low? Like where did we screw up? Like because I view this very much as an analysis of the spirit, the scoring criteria, and the total number are kind of like just the component parts of the experience of tasting this thing.
No,
which is why we broke it down the way we did, though, right? We have 8 categories dedicated to the taste of the dram.
That's fine. But here's the thing. This is the journey, right? This is scoring the journey, right?
The experience.
Yeah, the experience of you going into the store, right? And looking at the box or the bottle, taking it, opening it, nosing it, and then starting to go through those step-by-step analysis, and then getting like a gestalt at the end, right? So that's what this is.
Yeah, and I think that's a different approach. I feel like so many people that score a whiskey, they just taste it and they give you a number. And that's fine. I mean, like if you find somebody that their palate aligns with you and things they've recommended you've totally agreed with, that's fine. You go to that person, you follow what they do. Right. If you really want to dig into the nuts and bolts, if you really want to
like the nuance,
pick something apart into its component parts and analyze it, then that's what the Ultimate Spirits Competition is for. But I don't think you should take our final number and be like, well, you guys scored this an 80, but like whiskey.
That's why I should buy it or not buy it.
No, you should listen to what we say about it.
Yeah.
Because again, we're spirit agnostic.
Yeah.
We wanted to come up with something that we thought we could analyze any sipping spirit with these criteria and provide some level of use.
Right.
And it's really about the categories. It's much less about the total number in a lot of ways, even though that's
Yeah, it's really about the utility, right? And that's why we went through like the deeper dive of each item and the nuance, because it's not as simple as go buy it or not, right? Like pass or whatever.
We want to show you the nuts and bolts because if you're like, well, I just care about the finish. Let's say like that's such a big deal to me. A good finish. Then great. Skip to the part about finish,
and then that's it. And just look at that. There you go. Just look at that, and you're done.
Or like nose and finish. Like Jim Rutledge, right? He's obsessive about the nose, right? Like he just pours stuff and noses it. Then just listen to the aroma section.
That's it. You're done.
There you go. So I think utility and understanding the entire experience, not just looking for one thing either. I feel like that's another thing is like sometimes people will tell you the recommendations, but you kind of learn, well, they really just like sweet things. Or they really just like spicy things. And without digging into it like this, I don't know that you can really
hone into those different characteristics.
Why is somebody recommending this? Well, here's exactly what we think about it at every step of the way.
Right. I think the other problem is, and one of the reasons why I don't really watch review shows, including this one, is because most of the end totals, it's just absolutely meaningless. Like it never reflects the journey that I go through when I purchase something, right? Because I'm just trying to share with myself, usually, like what kind of journey did I go through, right? Instead of just getting to the end, right? I want to know, like, am I going to have a really interesting time? Or is this going to be just one of those average things that I would get if I just randomly pick something off the shelf? Or maybe I'm in the mood for, you know what? I really want something velvety. I want something, I want to focus on the mouthfeel today. Or what if I wanted to pair this with something? I want to pair it with a cigar. I want to pair it with food. I want to pair it with some other thing. I want to pick apart these things and say, okay, I want to design this journey in multiple sections. I can't do that with just, like you said, 3.5 barrels. Well, what does that mean?
Or double gold.
Yeah, like what does that mean? It has no meaning.
Yeah. I mean, really, in our final score, instead what it should almost be is like a graph of every category added up as opposed to just the total number. I mean, that's just too much work that we can do because we're lazy. But I mean, that's the reality of this is that it should be seen as like a spectrum analysis, not necessarily like a sum total, right?
But it's so easy to do that, right? I mean, that's why I think we're clamoring to like remind people like, no, there are like the devil's in the details. Yeah. And like the nuances are important.
I think that's also like the TikTok generation of
the quick.
I want to know what
immediately.
I don't want to know in 10 seconds
right.
what I should do. And I think, when we started this channel, we had that either or option. We were like, we're either going to go super easy.
Right. And like just quick.
Yeah. Like thumbs up, thumbs down, or we're going to go full nerd.
Yeah. If you want a Cliff's Notes Wikipedia
guess which one
and you click on plot and you go right to the last sentence, and it's like, this guy dies.
Right.
Like he was a ghost. Okay, this is not it, right? Yeah. It's more, look, how do we? It's like the unabridged
character development.
Yeah, it's the unabridged version, right? It's
all the stuff people hate in movies
like,
now. We decided to do it.
Yeah, when you have to show your work. Remember school? You have to actually show your work so that you can actually think through the deduction, and this is what it is.
Yeah, and I think people may disagree about our weighting.
No.
Like some people may say, well,
I hope so.
Yeah, but that's fine.
Yeah,
that's fine. I mean, and that's why I think it's less about the number that we give. It's more about tuning into that section of the discussion.
Yeah.
And picking it apart. Because if you're like, hey, I'm all about balance or I'm all about complexity or whatever it is, like I love the finish, I just care about the flavor, whatever it is, you can tune into that portion and listen to what we said about it and determine whether or not, hey, I think, when he said it has coconut, I love that. Yeah. I want to buy this. I don't really care what the final number was. Or Jules gets banana in something.
Jack Daniels.
And I'm the only one.
And I get maple. And you're like, that sounds great.
Or the other utility in the entertainment of how much we beat each other up over our score and how these two love to argue over 1 point.
Well, but that's where you get into the nitty gritty.
Absolutely.
Honestly. And discussing 1 point, as stupid as it is, sometimes brings out like the deepest analysis.
More discussion.
But my favorite part is when you guys both scored the same and you're still arguing.
And he's he's the one who scores it differently, and we're arguing.
Right.
Exactly. But there you go.
Yeah, because we want
you
to
can see that battle.
We want to share kind of our collective experience to this point in our life, right? So we've had, for the most part, we've known each other for so long. We've had pretty much most of the stuff in a similar way.
Yeah.
But we also have very unique things. You know, Dutch has great experience in all the White Claws. I don't. I drank, very high-aged scotches and whiskeys and weird things.
I drink the stuff that are like in the ornate, most crazy bottle.
Yeah, I mean, like
Flair.
Granted, Jules.
Aftershock.
Jules' alcohol is always opened this way, this way. And
So true.
Well, that's another interesting part of this too, and this is maybe another topic, but it's like the shared lexicon, right? Like, and this is the thing that wine, which if you want to talk about like Scotch going through things, and then bourbon going through things, and then now tequila going through things, you look at wine, because wine did it all like decades
ago.
And there were groups, and there were like professors that studied this stuff, and they were like, well, it only makes sense if we have a shared lexicon.
Yeah.
Like we have a shared set of criteria, we have a shared set of words that we use, and that's where the whole sommelier thing came from.
Yeah.
But it's all BS.
Right.
And actually every single time they've tried to run studies on it, it's all proven to be
so varied.
BS.
Yeah.
So ultimately what we're telling you is this is all BS.
Yeah. We're even BS. I like how we're whispering that part.
We just show you the BS.
True. We reveal everything.
We reveal everything.
We do not hide
warts and all
from you how we came up with our final total.
Yeah.
I mean, if we wanted to be like exacting, we should like a gas chromatography or something, right? And like run this stuff through it. And
here we go.
give you numbers and things like that. But nobody wants to see that.
I actually think there's some people that would want to see
I know.
that.
Actually, I kind of want
I would want to see that.
Yeah. But yeah, I think, again, emphasis on the journey.
Yeah.
The journey and wanting to be able to provide a utility, right? And I think if you come to this and you think, well, I just want to know the number, you're not really getting what we're trying to do with this.
And I really hope, actually, I'm really happy when people disagree.
Yeah.
Because my hope is we provide a framework, right, for them to argue against us.
Yeah.
In which case, then you create your own journey.
In case you haven't noticed, like, we like arguing about this.
Yes.
Like, we enjoy the disagreement because I feel like that's where you finally get to the truth of it. Like,
I know that my flavor profile is, it's compatible with 0.01%, right, of people. I get it. It's a less than 1%. I'm okay. I'm cool with that.
I am the elite. I have my own island and a helicopter.
I'm okay with that. Jules,
with a Banksy dock and everything.
No, Jules, he's at the top of the curve.
Again.
Top of the curve.
It's the pizza shot.
Yeah. 1 to 2 standard deviation. So you got it.
I want to close this off with, if you think about our profile, our scoring system, over the 3 years that we've been using it now, where do you think its strengths and its flaws are?
I think people get really confused about uniqueness.
It's a tough one.
Because that's a tough one. And
it's more subjective. Well, it's all subjective.
And of course, value.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people get a little nervous about non-flavor providing this extra credit.
Right.
But to me,
which again, that's what I mean though. Like, if you don't care about aesthetics or value,
then
cut 10 points off.
Yeah.
And then just remove those scores from our analysis.
That also means you're rich because you don't care, right? Well, for working folk, non-working folk,
if you own a liquor store and you're like, I don't care, I'm just going to hold the bottles.
Island owning folk and regular folk,
from the island,
from the island,
the owner and the
you escape
and the
wow.
Oh man, that has to be cut. Oh, actually, just run it through standards and practices.
No, it's gonna.
I already know that's gonna be cut. That's already gonna be. Jeez, man. So the one I was thinking more and more, it's almost like you can also figure out how you want to weight it.
Yeah.
Because more and more, I keep coming back to one category, which is balance. And more, maybe it's just the older I'm getting and the more things I've tried.
I agree.
We've been doing this for like 5 years.
30 years.
Well, but 5 years of really intense tasting and arguing about stuff, right? And that's tasted a lot of stuff over a lot of different categories.
Yeah.
But more and more what I come to is balance.
Yeah.
The balance to me, I'm almost like maybe that should be worth 20 points instead.
As you get older, yeah.
And I feel like that's another aspect of this is your flavor profile preferences and your palate will just change over time too. Yeah. And I think that the longer you do this, I think you'll eventually kind of settle respecting things like mouthfeel and balance almost more than like flavor
or complexity. Because complexity is one of the ones where I think could also get.
Yeah,
I think early on complexity is like a big
but
deal.
I thought it was a big exactly.
To me, I didn't. When I was younger, I never ever focused on the finish. I could care less about the finish.
Yeah.
But now, in terms of enjoyment, I really need that finish to be good.
Well, that's a huge flaw of a lot of other systems, right? Like if you look at San Francisco or Whiskey Advocate, or even like some of the other people on YouTube who don't even drink it, like if you just taste and spit, like you're eliminating
at least
huge category.
The journey, you're eliminating the journey.
Because as far as I'm concerned, you're killing drinkability and
unless that's all you do. I mean,
you're removing finish and drinkability from your analysis. You're like, that does not matter to me in whether or not the spirit is good or not. I completely 100% disagree. Well,
speaking as we go through that journey and changes, as we progress more, like drinkability has also proven to be a higher value category for me because it's like, well, I keep coming back to this, and I always love that we have that discussion.
No, but drinkability is so contextually important for me too.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, me too.
One of the most important thing is that we have to buy with our own money.
Well, that's
everything that gets entered because, again. The journey includes you going to the store. Like, I think it is disingenuous, or I think it's almost lying to the people watching if you get it for free and then you're trying to analyze it. Yeah. Because like there's an emotional component to purchasing it. Like there's you work hard for your money and then you're thinking, okay, is this worth it for me? You have to go through and say, okay, pros and cons of me spending this amount of money. I work this amount of hours per week. Am I going to get any value out of this? Am I going to enjoy it the way that this is going to cost me, right? In this way. So we didn't want to poo-poo that. We did not want to eliminate that or exclude that component. And that's why the entire process requires the purchasing.
Do you think you're shortchanging your viewers if you take things for free?
Oh, absolutely. I think it's lying, actually, because you are removing the emotional impact of you purchasing the thing. Like,
right, but instead you're replacing it with the emotional impact of somebody giving you something for free, which creates
most people don't get it for free. That's the difference, though.
And also that creates another set of emotions. Like you're like, oh wow, you just gave me a gift.
No, you're very happy.
Thank you. I need to thank you. How am I going to thank you? Well, let me give you this review.
You're grateful for it, and then oftentimes you want to keep that relationship, right? So it's like,
I mean, we got into this in our bias video a lot. I mean, I think we have strong feelings about that, and we've made it a hard and fast rule because also I don't think you're right. We can't evaluate the value component without going out there and trying to buy it ourselves. Yeah. And of course, we can only
how hard it is to find.
We can only give you our experience, of course. There are certain regions where things may be more available, and we try to solicit your feedback in those situations where we know that exists. And again, that's one of the reasons it's only 5 points.
Right. Exactly.
It's important. Because every single person that enjoys spirits has to go buy them.
Yeah. We also
wanted integral to the process.
Yeah. We also wanted to make sure that if, let's say, there's no value because it's like or $30,000, and the aesthetics was terrible. And it came in a trash bag, it could still theoretically, if what's inside is amazing, you could theoretically get
it could be
the
in
highest
a
prize.
Ziploc bag.
You could still get a diamond. Yeah, you could still get a diamond.
Yeah,
if it's ridiculously expensive and ugly.
Right, exactly.
But usually, if it's ridiculously expensive, it's at least going to be beautiful.
True.
Maybe.
Like the value of 0 and the aesthetics of 5 is very probable.
Yeah. Unless, hey, prove me wrong. Somebody out there. McAllen, I'm looking at you.
Make a cast
Release your next thing in a trash bag.
The McAllen bag?
Yeah.
Oh, that's going to win.
Yeah,
that's going to be awesome.
Yeah, you're going to rate that at 90.
Exactly.
Diamond Dome will come back.
10 uniqueness. 10 for uniqueness.
Yeah. All right, guys. Any other parting thoughts on our Ultimate Spirits competition? I mean, we truly believe it to be the ultimate spirits competition. It was not designed to be easy. It's not designed to give people marketing material for their brand. If you get a diamond, then absolutely you should market with that, I guess, because we've given what,
like 3?
1, 2,
only a handful,
5 total in our 3 years. We've given 5 things. An A, basically, is what people would call it, right?
No,
it's not an A.
It's not the same.
It's a diamond.
It's a diamond. No, parting thought would be, ultimately, it's up to you guys how you want to use any of this information. We're just trying to explain how we carved it out in our world.
Like I explained,
I don't love having you part of our journey.
I don't watch. I don't know why
Anything?
people watch this.
Don't say I wouldn't watch this.
He doesn't
I
watch
wouldn't watch it.
anything,
I
and he
told
knows to the detail some of these other competitions.
Yeah,
and
no,
judges.
they always said like, "Would you watch our show?" I'd say no. I don't.
So thank you for all of you guys that do watch it. If you want to support our channel, then Jules will tell you how to do
Yeah,
that.
we love you. Thank you. Give us a thumbs up or thumbs down. Subscribe. It's a great way to help us out. Either way, let us know how you feel. And if you want to help us out, consider joining Curiosity Private, a membership program here on YouTube and Patreon.
And tell us what you guys think about the scoring system.
Right.
What do we have wrong? What do we weigh too
And
heavily?
we're willing to change this and evolve. Let's go to version 2. I think what are we on? I know I used to write the version number on here, but
This is version 1,
one.
dude.
it
I've never
changed.
changed it. Well, it all started. We should actually point this out, like, real quick. It did start as an experiment.
Yeah.
We're like,
Can we apply this
Yeah.
to multiple spirit types?
Yeah.
Have we been successful? What are our flaws? Go
Let
through the
us
cycle
know.
analysis with us, guys.
Let
Lay
us
us
know.
down
In my mirror.
and mess us up.
And buy a t-shirt.
Yeah,
and
we don't want an
also
affirmation.
watch our podcast on the major podcast
Listen to it even.
platforms. Oh yeah, listen to it rather. Thanks, Dutch. As always, stay safe, stay healthy.
Stay curious.
Taste our podcast.
Taste our
Taste our podcast.
Yeah.
Hey, it's tasty.
Ridicule our subscriber.
Tasty wheat.
How do they know that tasty weak? Really tasty.
That's exactly my point. The machine's got to roll.
Everything your growing body needs. Ignorance is bliss, man.